All right, guys, joining us here on Submission Radio is, you can't really phrase it any other way. The people's champion is in the house who fights for his overdue right to fight for the UFC title this weekend at UFC 289 as he faces a tough challenge in Charles Oliveira, the one and only, the real deal, Beneil Dariush. Welcome back to Submission Radio, man. It's great to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me, boys. Thanks for all the praise as well.
We made it. We made it, man. We've been talking about this fight for ages. Here it is. How does it feel that we've basically made it? It's right around the corner now.
Excited. Like you said, it honestly feels like a 20-week camp. It is. It's been hard on the body, of course, but I got here, best shape of my life, and ready to go. So, looking forward to getting it done and getting some downtime.
Can I just say, you look different compared to when he first started talking about this fight like 60,000 years ago. You're looking leaner. The face is more svelte. Not that you weren't handsome before, but the handsomeness has been dialed up. I don't know if you've had a haircut, but you look like you're ready to fight. Do you feel that when you look in the mirror? You're like, this is a new Beneil.
So as far as the look, I got a haircut because of the last fight. My family was really urging me to get a haircut, so I said, okay, I got a haircut. And typically I get one every 6 months, so now they're begging me again to get a haircut. And I'm like, it hasn't been 6 months. So we're currently at an impasse. If I end up getting a haircut, it means I lost the battle. So that's where we're at right now with that. And as far as looking, I don't know. Some people say I look younger. Some people say I look older. When I lose weight, I do look a little different. So that's probably what you're seeing.
Are these interventions that your family's having you about the haircuts? What's going on? Do they sit you down? You come home from training, they're like, Beneil, it's time to have the talk again.
It's actually the opposite of an intervention, because if they try to have an intervention, I walk out. So what'll happen is my wife will kind of like creep in a little bit, be like, hey, what do you think about a haircut? Blah, 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 blah. And then next will be my sister, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe my aunts or something, they'll say something. And then finally my mom will come down with the hammer. It's like, you need a haircut. Look at your hair. It's out of control. I can't believe you look like a blah, 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 blah. And then if I say no, oh, you're just like your father. You never listen. If I say yes, it's like, oh, that's my son. What a good boy.
I'll tell you what, they have the system down pat. And by the way, so last time we spoke, I think we had Richard Gere from The Jackal, and today I'm pleased to say Richard Gere from Pretty Woman is joining us here on the show. And how good is he? Yeah, how good, it's a great movie. And speaking of exciting times as well, man, I got to say, last time we spoke, or the last few times we've spoken, there's always been this thing of like, okay, like the UFC aren't really seeing what I can bring to these cards. And, people like Dustin Poirier saying they're not really interested in fighting you because maybe it wouldn't generate big interest. But here we are, UFC 289, and there's some fun fights on the card. Of course, there's a title fight as well. But I really feel like you and Charles, this is the biggest draw card for people to really tune in and buy this pay-per-view this weekend. Are you feeling this? And if you are, like, how does that, like, what's your reaction to actually being that big draw card on this show?
I hear that a lot, and I appreciate people saying that, and maybe it's true. I don't know, but I have a lot of respect for Amanda Nunes. I think she's a great champion. She's beat a lot of great women, and so it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm the guy, because the best female fighter, arguably of all time, it's between her and Cyborg is in front of me, and so I understand why. I continue to put myself in check, remind myself, no, you're not the main event. Like even if people say it, you're not this amazing female fighter. She's the real main event, and I recognize it.
Hey man, that's a great attitude. That's a very humble attitude to have. But if you won't say it, we'll say it. This is a banger of a fight, and we're all very excited. Everybody's excited. By the way, though, speaking of like big fights in your division, what do you think about this BMF title making its sneaky return back into the division? Here you are, on like a 1,000,000 fight win streak, campaign for a title shot, and then the BMF title is just like, oh, hey guys, I'm just gonna sneak in here. What's your reaction to that?
Honestly, I love the fight. I don't have a like positive or negative about the belt. I'm very neutral about it.
Sure.
It's cool, you know, especially since I don't think I'll ever fight for it. I don't think I really fall into the category. So I don't mind the belt, whatever. The fight, though, man, what a fight. I am so excited for this fight, and I keep trying not to think about the fight because every time I think about the fight, I put on my analyst hat and my coach hat and my what if I was the opponent hat kind of deal, right? So it's just a fight I'm really looking forward to. So I love the fight, and I understand that there's some stress with it for me, just because, you know, it's possible that it could get in front of me. But right now, I'm not worried about that.
You mean as in like, you know, looking at it from the perspective like, oh, what if that guy gets the next title shot, that kind of way?
Yeah, of course, you know. But fortunately, the UFC did give me their word, which is not usual for them. You know, I've asked, I think after the Tony fight, you know, I thought maybe they would, and I said no problem. After the Gamrot fight, before the Gamrot fight, I asked, hey, like, if I win this fight, I get the title shot, right? And I think it was Sean, and Sean gave me this spiel like, well, we don't know what tomorrow brings. What if Khabib comes back, or what if Volkanovski wants to fight? And you know, there you go, Volkanovski did fight. So yeah, they didn't give me that spiel. They said, yeah, you're #1 contender.
Yeah. They went to spit in the hand and then do the handshake. You're like, we're past that. You bring out the knife, you cut your hand. You're like, we're doing these kind of handshakes now.
I might do that, you know. If I don't get the title shot after this fight, and they say, oh, if you beat this guy, we promise, I'm gonna have to bring out the knife.
The Wolfpack handshake. Just okay. So you said you didn't really, you didn't want to put your analyst hat on. Can you give us just a little taste, just a cheeky morsel of how you see that one going? I wasn't even going to ask, but you got me excited.
So look at the first fight, but then also look at the improvements the guy's made. I think in terms of improvement, Justin Gaethje made a lot of improvements in his footwork, or at least applying his footwork, and being safe, applying his footwork, moving his head out of the way when he needs to, and getting out of the car crash, as he puts it. And I think Dustin Poirier's fundamentals of striking are just getting better and better. Why? Because I think for Dustin Poirier, he loves striking. I think he loves boxing. I think he loves kickboxing as well, but he loves it. There's something where he can see things where other men can't, and so he thrives there. And the striking aspect of it, and what he does really well is his basics get better with each round. He gets more fundamentally solid, and because the other person typically slows down, because of his better fundamentals, he starts to take over the fight. So it's such a great fight. The reason why I'm leaning towards Justin Gaethje is I just think he's a little bit more hungry. His last fight with Fiziev, incredible. I think a lot of people thought he was going to lose. I believe he was the underdog. So the way he came out, showed the feints, threw the kicks, it came out, showed the feints, threw the punches, and then when you thought he was going to kick, he punched. When you thought he was going to punch, he kicked. And when you thought he was going to come in, he's out. I think it was him just, that's the best version of Justin Gaethje. That man right there will be very hard to beat for anybody, including me.
Well, I know you guys are friends and stuff, and obviously you're favoring him in this fight, but is the silver lining of Dustin winning here the potential of him being your first title defense if you beat Islam in October?
Shoot, I haven't thought about it. To be honest with you, if he wins, do we really need to fight? I mean, he's not interested, right? He doesn't really want to fight me, so I mean, he'll be the BMF champ. Maybe he'll go on and defend that belt, and I'll fight somebody else. But I don't know. You know, if we'll see what the UFC says. But if he's not pushing to fight me, if I'm the champion, then at this point I'm over it. You know, I really do want to fight the new generation, these young contenders, and. Yeah, but if it's Dustin Poirier, it's Dustin Poirier.
Does he need to bring the BMF title with him and put it up on the line if he wants a crack at your belt? If you do become the champ?
I just don't think I'm the guy for that belt. Like, I have to be honest, right? I inside that octagon, Those are 15 minutes, 25 minutes of freedom where I absolutely lose my mind and I do what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
But outside, it's just not me. I am not a BMF or whatever you want to call it. I'm just an average dude who pretty much loves the Lord and just wants to spend time with his family.
You need the wallet, the Pulp Fiction wallet that says BMF, and that'll be certified. No, but you know what's BMF about you is like you just keep fighting the next guy, and like every time we're like, "Hey, Beneil, you gonna do a call out?" You're like, "Hell no, man, I'm not doing a call out. I'm just gonna keep fighting the next guy and just prove that I'm a best." I think that's pretty badass. A lot of respect for that, man.
Well, if that's what it takes to be the BMF, then you could definitely put me down for it. But I don't think that's what they're looking for, you know. But if that was the case, then yes, I would definitely have I would definitely have a claim to the throne.
If you could create a title and name it in any way you could, what do you reckon you would name it? If you could bring any title into the UFC, in the vein of the BMF, GMF, or whatever MF, or maybe no MF in it, what do you think is a good title for
maybe like a Masters title? You have all the guys that look the oldest fight each other, and the winner.
What about just like a "No, Mum, I'm not getting a haircut after only 5 months" title?
To be honest with you, I don't see too many fighters not getting haircuts. So I don't think there'd be a long list. But there's a lot of fighters that look older than they should. So I think there'd be a lot of opportunities for me to fight these people.
Yeah. That's something with tattoos, like some kind of bad tattoo championship.
Yeah. Or guys with no tattoos like me. There's not a lot of guys.
Are you the only one in all of MMA?
No, there's got to be other guys that don't have tattoos.
How's the body, man? I know, like, you know, obviously from time to time you have the niggles and stuff like that. How are you looking into this camp? Oh, sorry, how are you looking going to this fight?
You know, thanks to coffee, I feel amazing. But what I've spent a lot of time doing is tapering. I tapered down quite a bit, and so spending a lot of time in recovery stuff, physical therapy, and all that stuff. But still doing all the sparring I need to do, but then at the same time doing a lot more recovery and less additional practices that I don't need to do. I make sure I stay in tip-top shape and do my sparring and stay sharp with the mitts and the drilling. But like, you know, that extra practice of let's wrestle a little bit extra. Let's do some situationals. Let's do some jiu-jitsu. No, we're going to chill out and we're going to just get ready for this fight, because I love training. Training is my favorite thing to do outside of my family. So, you know, I'm not my wife's going to be pissed. I'm not a big vacation guy. Like if you tell me, hey, let's go here, but you don't get to train. For example, whenever we travel, I train. If we go to Hawaii or when I go on my mission trips, I typically have an opportunity to train at least once a day or work out once a day. So that's what I love to do. But so that's been hard, kind of pulling back and being like, okay, no, we're not doing that extra practice. We're chilling out.
Imagine they take you to a resort and all they have is haircuts and no gyms. You're basically jumping on a plane and getting out. Hey, dude, I gotta talk to you for a sec just about Charles Oliveira, because it's interesting, right? Like, he's a BMF in his own right. And, you know, before he lost the title, many were talking about how, you know, he could potentially be one of the greatest lightweight champions of all time. And I guess now that he's lost the belt, you know how MMA world works, where it's like, well, he's lost the belt and people have kind of forgotten about how dangerous and how great he really is. So I wonder, like, as you go into this fight and you've got this Charles Oliveira, right, who's like coming off this loss, what kind of Charles are you expecting? Because we've seen fighters never be the same after a loss, especially losing the title. And we've seen fighters come back and look different, even better after losing the title. What do you think he's going to be looking like?
So first things first, man, this guy is so good. He is, at this point, I would probably put him as the second best lightweight of all time. The reason why I'm not putting Makhachev in the picture is because we don't know where he's going to end up, right? But I think he's one of the GOATs of lightweights, right? I think it goes him and Khabib now. If he had beat Makhachev and then if he had beat me after that, for sure he's the best lightweight of all time. So he was so close, you know? And with that being said, if he truly wants his title back, I have to be prepared for the better version of him. And the better version of him, in my opinion, is a offensive Charles Oliveira, just like he is, with with safety hazards built in, like for worst case scenario. So what I mean by that is he's still as aggressive as possible, but when necessary, he plays the defensive game a little bit better. So that if I end up having to fight a Charles Oliveira like that, it'll be a tough night. I mean, I still think I'm going to win, but I think that's the most dangerous Charles Oliveira.
I know you mentioned how you're not really putting Islam in there because you're not sure where he's going next. Do you think there's a chance that he might not be he might not be defending his title in October, and it could be like potentially an interim fight, or you fighting someone else for the title, or somebody else being brought up for you guys to fight for the title?
Well, have you guys heard something that
No, you just mentioned it, and I wonder because, like, what has the UFC said to you about that fight? Have they guaranteed that it's going to be Islam? Are there any plans to potentially have him there at the arena to watch you fight or anything like that?
I don't know any of that stuff. Here's what I know. When Charles pulled out, I said, let's do this, guys. I think this is going to be the best case scenario. I said this to Hunter. Why don't we scratch this fight, and I'll cancel my vacations, my whatever. Let's push my fight with Makhachev to July. So I stay in a freaking long camp, but at least I get to fight for the title. And they said no, he has to be on the October card in Abu Dhabi. So I know for sure he's supposed to be on the October card unless he gets injured or something happens, God forbid.
That makes sense. I understand what you were trying to say, but also just going back to Charles, I think like it's hard to count him out after a loss because that's kind of what he was known for in his career, right? Like he lost so many times before he went on that incredible streak. So it's like with Usman, for example, when he lost, it was like, man, what's this guy going to look like after that? But with Charles, it's almost like he's been here, man. He's dug deep. And I agree with you on your analysis of him. But you were talking to Farah at MMA Junkie, who, by the way, does a great job. You said that you're actually more pumped about the grappling with Charles. Is that right?
Yeah, because I started out in grappling. I was a young grappler and like I was coming up the ranks. And Charles Oliveira, I had never even heard of him in grappling, but I first noticed him in MMA. But in terms of grappling, I think if we competed, either 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 times, I beat him in grappling. I don't think he's, I think he's very good at grappling, but I don't think we wouldn't be in the same ballpark.
Are you hoping to show that in this fight, or is it like, well, if it happens, it happens. I don't really care either way.
I mean, yeah, of course I'm going to show it. There's no fight with Charles Oliveira where grappling doesn't take place. So, and I think somewhat with me as well. So, of course, I'm going to grab him, and then we're going to know what life's all about.
Yeah, we will, man. Well, I can tell you one thing that life is about, or not about, and that's looking like a silly goose or a silly pickle with your nose hairs hanging out of your nose and your ears hairs making you look like a silly koala. Life is about being the best version of yourself, and our good friends at Manscaped will help get you there with the Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear trimmer using the 7,000 RPM motor with an improved steel blade system that upgrades the cutting performance from their first generation to better whack your weeds. Those silly little nose hairs won't know what hit them. They will not stand a chance, but best of all, it comes with the skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs. It's cordless, rechargeable, battery of up to 45 minutes of runtime, and best of all, the Weed Whacker 2.0 comes in Manscaped's all of their tool sets, including the Platinum Package 4.0 and the Performance Package 4.0, which is the best value for money. Let's face it, guys, long nose hair, major turn off. Just get rid of it. Be the best version of yourself, and best of all, save 20% off and free shipping with the code submission at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping, baby, with the code submission at manscaped.com. From below to up top, get the freaking best in Manscaped shop. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, man. And while people are trying to get free shipping and save money, why not do it with NordVPN right now? Because they basically let you change your location and get the best deal for yourself. I know we have a lot of people listening in New Zealand right now. The New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar is not the same, as well as all the other different currencies around the world. Did you guys know I went onto the Malaysian server and it was able to buy the NBA League Pass for a fraction of the cost? You guys can do the same with flights, hotels, car rentals, and all sorts of other things all around the world. Not to mention that when you change your location and you have things like your Netflix on, you get completely different content, different types of movies, other opportunities to watch things from around the world that get geo-blocked in your location. NordVPN is really a no-brainer, and one NordVPN account can be used up to 6 devices. There's no speed throttling. And we want you guys to try it for yourself first before you see how much of a difference it makes in your life. NordVPN gives you a 30-day money-back guarantee, completely risk-free. To try it today, if you go to nordvpn.com/submission or click the link in the description below. If you love it, which we know you will, Nord is running an awesome deal where you get a massive discount plus 4 additional months for free if you lock it in today after you have that amazing experience. So why not try it right now and see the difference and the money NordVPN can save you. Thanks to NordVPN, man. How much money I've saved. I'm going to be buying a boat by the end of the year. But Beneil, I am super, and I know Casper and everybody out there, we are super excited to see you get this opportunity to lock in this title shot, and what a fight it is to do it. As we wrap up, I know you mentioned, I think to Farah, that you're planning the absolute domination in this fight. And as we wrap up, I just wonder, can you finish out with this? What does domination look like to you when you think about UFC 289 against Charles Oliveira?
The goal, the game plan, and this is the game plan. The game plan is to be defensively and offensively perfect, where I don't move forward without proper planning. I don't move forward just to move forward. Every single inch that I take or I take back is with a reason and with a purpose. And so that is why the goal for me is to dominate this fight. That is my goal. I'm not saying that's how it's going to be, but my plans, my goals for this fight are this. He does not get anything from me, and that is my goal for this fight.
I can't wait, man. I absolutely can't wait for this fight. It's been so long in the making. We've been talking about it for so long. It's finally around the corner. Thank you so much for taking the time with us. But obviously, follow the man at Beneil Dariush on Instagram. And best of luck, man. Hope it's a great fight week for you, and a great fight for you too.
Thanks, boys. Cheers.